Hi, I'm David.
I am Jelena.
Welcome to our tutorial on VATAYANASANA horse pose from Ashtanga's intermediate series.
Do you like this pose?
I do like this pose.
Me too.
Yeah. Yay.
People watch me fall now when I have to show it.
We can edit.
All right.
So we're going to go through the Vinyasa count, kind of a funny Vinyasa count, and the conditions of the pose, what it is you're trying to do. But before we do that, make sure to subscribe, like, and comment. Let us know what you want to see, what you like, how your day is going, etc.
All right.
Okay, so Vatayanasana, Samastiti. Yekam, inhale, bring your right leg in a half lotus, wrap your right arm around, bind. This is weird. Dwe, exhale, release the bind, both hands on the floor. Trini, inhale, head up. Chatwari, exhale, go back, keep the half lotus position, land in Chatwari position and hold with the knee off the floor. Pancha, inhale into upward dog, knee still off the floor. Shat, exhale, go back into downward dog. Sapta, inhale, hop that left foot forward, turn it out, bend the knee, bring your right knee down, and then lift the arms, right arm up, and then left arm comes under and wraps around. And that's it. Lift the gaze. 5 breaths here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ashtau, inhale, hands down, up. Nava, exhale, go back, Chatwari. Dasha, inhale. Yekadasha, exhale. And then switch sides. Ooh, that was fancy. Dwadasha, inhale, hop, right foot forward. So you're basically doing the other side. Bend the knee, arms up. And hold here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Trayodasha, inhale, hands down, up. Chaturdasha, exhale, Chatwari. Panchadasha, inhale. Shodasha, exhale. Saptadasha, inhale, hop forward. And then reach the left arm around and bind. Ashtadasha, exhale, head down. Yekuna Vimshati, inhale, head up only, exhale there. Vimshatahi, inhale, come up, balance. And then exhale, Samastiti. We made it.
You're challenging me on purpose.
But how is it challenging?
You are.
It's just the count. It's not me. It's the tradition. I thought it was a pretty fast 5 count. No? Okay. But it's kind of, there's a lot of contortion happening in the posture. You know, it's a little bit, at this point in the intermediate series, you've done all these different kind of combinations of movement, but you start putting all these different shapes together. It gets a bit awkward.
And then, yes, you've probably noticed that the way we get into the pose, that very beginning, is quite different from the way we finish the pose. The count's not totally even on the...
Yeah.
There's extra breaths towards the end of it that we don't have when we're here and we fold forward.
Oh, okay.
There's more breaths.
Is there?
At the other end. Yeah.
I mean, there's always there's the extra breath. Let's see.
So we have an inhale.
Yeah.
And then it's exhale with both hands
right
away.
Okay.
And then inhale, jump.
Yeah.
But when we're coming back, from here, we inhale, jump, and catch.
Yeah.
And then we exhale.
Oh, okay.
And then we again go inhale.
Yeah.
Exhale. And we inhale.
Yeah.
Balance, and then exhale.
Yeah.
Samastiti.
I never thought about it as unevenness in terms of the breath, but just it's like got a different different place where you release the bind.
Yeah.
That's where. But yeah, and it's weird too because you only hold on the first side, you have the leg in half lotus coming back into downward dog, that whole
Yeah.
thing. It's like it's I guess probably a long time ago, maybe there was a whole vinyasa in between. I don't know.
Anyways, it's uneven and you have to accept it. That's all.
Yeah. But I don't think it's the unevenness that's the hard part about it. I think the hardest part about it is for most people is probably balance. Yeah. Once you get in the pose, being able to maintain the balance. And there's a couple of things you can do that'll make that easier. Um, let's see, is there anything worth mentioning before we get to the balance? I guess the jump back, into Chaturanga Dandasana with the leg in half lotus it's kind of challenging. It's pretty interesting. And then there was always an emphasis on not letting the half lotus knee
Touch
come
the
down
floor,
onto the
yeah, no.
floor. So you're staying active through that leg the whole time.
Yeah, and it's really hard. Sometimes I always keep the half lotus knee off the ground, but on some days I'm able to also keep the foot off the ground. Like I can lift more into my upward facing dog, but sometimes that foot's kind of touching the ground because your hips are low to the ground anyways when you're doing an upward facing dog. So
Yeah.
it's hard to keep it.
Yeah. Well, keep practicing. Eventually one day. Okay. And then, so when you get into the state of the asana, let's talk about that. Then, and this has changed, while I've been practicing in Mysore, the coordinates for it have been sort of shifting. So you jump the left foot forward. So as it stands, so to speak, right now we turn that left foot out. I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't think you turn it out 90 degrees, probably more at about like 40 or so degrees, right? And then you bend the right knee or bend the left knee and bring the right knee down to the floor. And then this is what we do for balance is we put our left hand on the left knee and push into the hand to lift the right arm up first, kind of establish your balance there. And then when you feel steady, then you'll bring your left arm underneath and try to get your fingers into your hand. So the left fingers into the right hand. And then basically you're trying to balance here and then lift through the arms and lift your chin up. So that's the challenging part. Sometimes it can be kind of hard on the right knee. What I would recommend there is make sure that you're not putting your right knee too far back, like don't put it behind the left foot because then you're going to be really sort of reaching out through that right leg. It's going to put a lot of tension on the right knee. So if anything, shift it either in line with the heel or just a little bit forward of that line of the left heel. And the other foot turns out to the side. Turn your torso a little bit towards that foot and try to push into that foot, like use that foot for the majority of the strength.
I got somehow this pose really connects me with Shiraji because the last week in Miami, I kept falling out of it the whole time. And so for almost like a whole week, kept coming over and correcting me. And so I was instructed by him to turn the foot out. But what was new to me was this turning of the torso a little bit towards it. I always tried so hard to keep my upper body facing fully forward, but he told me turn a little bit to the side and then it makes it easier to find the reach. So then turning that foot doesn't seem as intense as if you try to keep the body forward like that. So when I come up, I'm not trying to come up here, which is what I was doing, but he told me to turn a little bit this way. And then I find the balance easier. And I also find that I can push more through that heel to help stabilize myself.
Really, it's going to shift more weight into the standing leg, right? Because you're turning towards it. Because otherwise, if you're facing straight forward, your weight is more on the lotus leg. Do you know what I mean?
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So in that case, turning this way. And then also the other thing to note that's always a question is what's the distance between the heel and the knee? And that's what's kind of changed a lot over time. Um, it used to, at one point, it was together, touching, but I think even before then, they had done it apart. If you look at some older pictures, then people had the heel and the knee apart. And that's how we've been doing it for the last maybe 10 years or something. I prefer that way.
I remember the first time you taught me, like almost 12 years ago, 13 years ago, it was together.
Yeah.
And then at some point, I remember you came back and then.
Yeah. And really, it's kind of a relief that it's not together because it's quite precarious. You know, the more of a point you're trying to balance on, the harder it is. So spreading them apart makes a big difference. You're just not spreading it out too much. Yeah.
And then the other tip that you gave, I want to emphasize it because it really makes a big difference. The difficult part here is lifting the arms and finding that balance. So keeping the arm on the bent thigh or the leg as you lift one and kind of find the gaze and find some of the height before bringing the other one around makes a big difference. If you try to do both arms, I find it's very hard to maintain it.
One of my favorite vinyasas is in here too, you know, like we all have our little favorite
The
movements.
half lotus jump
The
back.
half lotus jump, because it's counted ashtau up, right? It's not ashtau back to chatwari. It's ashtau from the posture.
So this one.
Yeah. From holding the state of the asana, so you would be in the pose. Yeah. You would go from the posture, ashtau, inhale, your hands down, up, nava, exhale, go back. So you've got that little moment of balancing, you know? And the half lotus leg helps you with that because your weight is more shifted forward, right, with that leg. So it's easier to keep your
Keep the balance, yeah.
Yeah, so that's kind of a fun thing to focus on in the practice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. That's Vatayanasana. Kind of a weird one, but lots to kind of play with inside of it. Yeah, let us know what you think. Let us know what you want to see, and make sure to subscribe. Thanks for joining us.